Blog Talk Radio.
It's your world, I just live in it.
The number you have reached, 911, has been changed to a non-published number.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Hey, good morning, everybody. It's the Jewboy here. Feldman World Review. Every Sunday, I'm asking for 30 minutes a week. That's not too much, just to help me with my therapy session while I sit here and I talk about the world around us, live in an Obama world, and all the crazy things that go on every single day. This administration keeps on giving. Unfortunately, the mainstream media doesn't seem to get it. So there's a lot of people out here in the blogosphere and the Internet, a couple of talk show radio hosts, and a few other bloggers that are going against the mainstream media. That's what the Jewboy, that's what Feldman World Review, that's what Feldman World Group is trying to do, getting ready for these 2014 elections. So critical to America, this election. We got to vote as a solid political bloc. Okay, whether, Republican candidate, whoever the candidate is going up against what could be Hillary Clinton, it's going to be an extension of what Obama's already put into place after others have laid the groundwork, and it's got to be turned around. I know my listeners know it, that's how we got to roll here. Feldman World Review. I'm going to open up the phones in a little while. Put this number down, 347-202-0433. I'd like to hear from you. Please call in. Give me your opinion. I'll let you know when the phone lines are open. You can call in, and it'll be a short wait. And don't forget to go to www.facebook.com, Feldman World Group Newswatch. And we like to be liked. And I try to post as much information, as many stories as I can find out there on the Feldman World Group Newswatch. The mainstream media doesn't seem to want to really talk about. And speaking of the mainstream media, how does anyone take ABC, or here in the New Jersey area, Channel 7 News seriously? Honest to God. It's run by Clinton operatives like Stephanopoulos. They just push O's agenda, and they soon to be kneeling at the feet of the Hillary campaign. I don't know. Obamacare has proven itself. Today's go by. I don't think anybody can argue with the bad law it is. How many people are getting hurt by it? How many people are going to be uninsured? He's going to increase the rolls of the uninsured. How about that? Is that a complete opposite of an affordable plan to take care of everybody, including illegal aliens and everybody else, and prices were going to go down? So Obamacare just keeps proving itself, and we've talked about Obamacare ad nauseum. Benghazi, NSA, IRS, FEC, Fast and Furious, all the things that piss us off every day, never is addressed. But, let's pile on the Governor Christie traffic key. Okay, that gets the Department of Justice up in arms, okay? That's what gets them up in arms. Not the Federal Election Commission colluding with the IRS to shut down political groups, to shut down 503C and 3D charities so they can't be involved in the 2012 election, a stolen election. Talk about voter suppression. But these things just seem to get jumped over all the time. But let me see. Today's Jewboy Journal is titled, John Kerry the Fool, Leading Us into a World War with Islam. Kind of just executing Obama's policies. Pretty much. Let's see. What are Obama's policies? There's a few of them I just want to touch on. Number one, because, one thing I want to say that I've been saying, because I want to qualify this, because I don't want anybody to accuse me of having any preconceived notions about people. Whether President Obama is a socialist or not, or whether he is a Muslim or not, whether he's a true believing Christian like he says he is, or he's not. His policies support National Socialism, and they support the Islamist movement in the world. So let's just clarify that. Now, some of his policies support the Muslim Brotherhood, the granddaddy of Al-Qaeda, Hamas, Hezbollah, Islamic Jihad, the list goes on. Who's the new one? The kids over there in Somalia, Shabazz. Anyway, support the Muslim Brotherhood. He just let the Muslim Brotherhood contingent come through customs with like special, they didn't have to go through the normal, what American citizens have to go through, the pat-downs, the reach-ups. Support the Muslim Brotherhood. Number 2, undermine the governments of Libya, Egypt, and Syria and replace them with Islamic rebels. That was another one of his foreign policies. Now, thank God for the Egyptian army, or Egypt would probably be in the same condition Libya and Syria are in right now. But the Egyptian army stood up for the Egyptian people, a combination of Coptics, Muslims, other Christian groups, secular people, to stop the Muslim Brotherhood. Interesting. Number 3, negotiate and sign an agreement with Iran. That's another Obama policy. He said it as he was running for election 2008, 2012. Remember? So he's just living up to what he believes in. 4, support Islamic takeovers in Nigeria, Burma, Thailand. Just as Hillary Clinton laid all the groundwork. The press doesn't tell you anything that's going on because the world's on fire, folks. And number 5, of course, is turn your back on Israel. He snubbed Netanyahu internationally. He snubs the Israelis. He still wants them to turn over the land for peace. He still wants them to release prisoners. He's still putting all this pressure on Netanyahu. Netanyahu said, to hell with this, and I love Benjamin Netanyahu. I do. And he's there. He says he'll negotiate with Iran. He went to Jordan to negotiate with the Jordanians. He has an open relationship with the Syrian government, the Lebanese, and the Egyptians. What does he need? What does he need the fool for? John the Fool Kerry in the middle of this, Because the world is on fire, more so than ever before. They talked about George Bush. They talked about Iraq. They talked about Afghanistan. They talked about the Patriot Act over ad nauseum, to the point where they vilified the president. They vilified his administration, Dick Cheney, Rumsfeld, the list goes on. We all remember. But look at the world today, right now. There's bombings in Syria, Egypt, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Thailand. Don't forget Thailand, because the mainstream media is not covering Thailand, and the Obama administration is not talking about Thailand, but Thailand's on fire, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? We see murders of non-Muslims in Nigeria, Mali, Kenya, the Central African Republic, South Sudan, which is on fire. This was a great plan. Let's support all these changes going on. South Sudan. How about the non-Muslims being killed in Sweden, in England, in Lebanon, in Syria? All these bastions where the Obama administration has been sending billions of dollars in military aid over and over again to these countries. I don't think we can really, question Obama anymore and what his plans are. He said in his autobiography, and you all can read it if you haven't read it already, that when the winds of change come, and I'm paraphrasing, I'm sorry, when the winds of change come, I'm going to stand with the Muslims. Well, he has. The Russians and Vladimir Putin, who's now considered the most powerful man and maybe the richest man in the world, they act all tough. They act tough. They just gunned down this top Chechen leader, Duko Umarov. They just, killed him. He was the guy that supposedly was doing the bombings, in the Sochi area where the Olympics are going to be staged. And he goes out there and they take this guy out. We look like a bunch of fools. Does anybody take John Kerry seriously anymore? But did they ever take John Kerry seriously after Hillary laid her groundwork and then got drunk and hit her head and then couldn't testify and then did? And then, what difference does it make, Hillary? That's the one. Where's our foreign policy? We got John Kerry, we got Valerie Jarrett, who suddenly, she was starting to get some press and some questions, and all of a sudden, oh, it's not me. I'm just doing filing. I just know the alphabet and I can file. Or you got Susan Rice, who we know, who was a professional liar, who came out with the Obama administration lie of the century about a video causing the murders in Benghazi. Well, we all know there was a lie, and then the reports just come out, and nothing is said, nothing is done. And, the Republicans are really pissing me off. The Republicans in Congress, where the hell are they? Where are they? How do we forget the World Trade Center attacks of not just 2001, but 1993, the Blind Sheik of Jersey City? How do we forget? How do we forget so quickly what happened at the Boston Marathon just a little while ago? There's been decades and decades and decades of hijackings, beheadings, bombings. And who is their enemy? Who are they attacking? There's an article out here. Anybody wants to call in, it's 347-202-0433. The Jewboy. I get going on the subject. I can't stop. This is one that drives me crazy ever since I learned about the Basque Socialist Party, and it's working with the Nazis in World War II. Anwar Sadat wore a Nazi uniform, and the collusion between those two countries during that war. Those great wars between Rommel and Montgomery, tank battles in the sand. How do we forget? How do we forget so easily our history, what our history means? Meanwhile, the Taliban attacked a convoy that killed 20 soldiers. Where's the administration? Where is the administration? Are these acts of war? Is this just a protest? Well, Michelle Malkin, who I love her writings. I want to read something from a blog that she wrote called John Kerry, Jihad Coddler. It was published on January 17th. And I'm going to read you a couple of, this is the Creator Syndicate, copyright 2013. I want to read you a couple paragraphs because I had written a little thing here, but this says it better than I'll say it. Here we go. John Kerry, Jihad Coddler. The myth of the poor, oppressed jihadist never dies. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry is the latest Obama administration official to peddle this odious narrative. Cue John Lennon's cloying Imagine. Don your plaid pajamas and curl up with a warm cup of deadly naivete. While meeting with Catholic Church officials at the Vatican in Rome on Monday, Kerry expounded on their huge common interest in dealing with this issue of poverty, which in many cases is the root cause of terrorism or even the root cause of the disenfranchisement of millions of people on this planet. In other words, if only every al-Qaeda and Taliban recruit had a fraction of Kerry's $200 million fortune, they'd all be frolicking peacefully with infidels on jet skis sporting coexist bumper stickers. That wasn't a one-off. Kerry delivered a similar kumbaya-style discourse at the Global Counterterrorism Forum last fall. Getting this right isn't just about taking terrorists off the street. It's about providing more economic opportunities for marginalized youth at risk of recruitment. Naturally, the foggy bottom apple doesn't fall far from the Pennsylvania Avenue terror-excusing tree. President Obama subscribes to the very same midnight basketball theory of counterterrorism. In the immediate aftermath of 9/11, Obama asserted that jihad grows out of a climate of poverty, ignorance, helplessness, and despair. Now, if there's any Israeli can tell you that's a bunch of hogwash. Okay, because the Israelis have lived with this daily threat of terrorism, bus bombings, restaurant bombings, vest bombers walking in at any hour, any time, any place. Now the bombs are raining in from Gaza. Gunfire is going into Syria and hitting IDF members. The Israelis are being attacked right now. as all of this deflection is going on about Syria and how much money and weapons are going to Syrian rebels via the Obama administration, and all these things that are going on the planet, Israel is being attacked from all sides. Quietly, slowly, the soft tyranny, that Mark Levin wrote about. There's a soft terrorism. There's a soft war going on against Israel. And where is the Obama administration with regard to Israel and Israel's security? It's no coincidence that there was IMF and UN people, along with Americans, killed at the Kabul restaurant the other day. 2 Americans who were working at the University of Afghanistan, probably, learning a new international coexist philosophy to bring back to some great university in the United States. Americans are killed. IMF, International Monetary Fund people are killed. United Nations administrators, managers are killed. Is that any coincidence? And where is the Obama administration on all this? Where's Susan Rice? Isn't she going to come out and explain why people are dying while our philosophy is cutting down the troops, telling them not to shoot? What are they, walking around there with rubber bullets in Iraq? I mean, what is really, going on with this administration? And what do we face moving forward? Because now Pakistani soldiers are being killed. And that's a scary place, Pakistan. Pakistan's had a nuclear weapon for decades. We've had peace with them. We've given them tons of money. We tried to buy their support and loyalty. We see what that's done for us. But that's a scary place, Pakistan. They have a bomb, just like India does. They have one. Who's it going to end up with? And what is the Obama administration's theory on all this? Make peace with Iran, sign a peace treaty with the Iranis, and that's going to lead us to this peaceful Middle East and this peaceful future that everybody talks about? Because we all know, folks, that the Palestinians, those refugees, in fact, now there's a Palestinian refugee camp right outside Damascus in Syria, as a matter of fact, while all this battling is going on. Those rebel jihadists, that Obama was so interested in supporting, what are they doing about it? I don't really see too much. It's frightening. And that's why the 2014 elections are so important, folks, that we vote as a bloc. Because we've got to put people in place, not the Republicans you see right now. Because there's Republicans that you see right now, they should have done something already. They should be talking something already. What is happening? What is happening? And one of the, besides the Russians knocking off that Chechenian guy, he was the one. It's probably just another coincidence that Chechenian rebel, Daku, he just happens to be one of the main influences on those Tsarov brothers that killed 3. You know what kills me about that the mainstream media ignores Boston? It's because 3 people were killed. 3 people were killed, and but dozens, hundreds and hundreds of people were hurt, lost limbs, lost their ability to think with nails and shrapnel going into their brains, people that were blinded, children that lost parents that lost children. This was not a small event. This was not an event run by. When are we going to stop allowing the mainstream media to define our society, to tell us who's ahead of one pole and who's behind in another? Because we're at a point right now that is totally, we're at an extreme moment, in our world right now, and we've got to stop ignoring the facts. And the facts are, and I'm going to use this as a perfect example, in Thailand, where I remember the big news out of Thailand was the Mela Marcos' shoe collection. And that was definitely a sign of I guess, economic abuse, but it's only abusive to people that are jealous, that want that money, the have-a-littles and want more, that little group, from the Alinsky book, Rules for Radicals, because revolutions are never run by the poor. They're never led by the poor, by the downtrodden. They're run by the have-a-littles that want more. The people that can put together a revolution. But I really want to talk about this because this is a scary thing going on. 28 people are hurt in explosions at Iraq anti-government protest site in Thailand. Now, the Associated Press put this out, and I know it's out there on the news services on the internet. But what is actually going on is that the problem with them downplaying this violence in Bangkok, it's just that it's another connection, it's another step, it's another result of the Obama administration's foreign policy, which seems to be, whether, as I said before, he's truly a socialist or he's a Muslim or he's a Christian or not, all of the policies that we've supported around the world, and if you've been following my show for the last couple of years, and even when my long-lost brother Mike was sitting here doing this with me, and I miss Mike. I miss Mike's perspective. We didn't agree on everything, but that was the beauty of it all. And that's the beauty of America for the time being, is that we can. I mean, now we have the mob. Now we've got mob politics now. Very, very National Socialist-like mob politics. With Chris Christie, they waited for a crack, and they are running through it. They are running through it just like they used to do back in the late 20s, early 30s, when they would vilify Jews and vilify socialists and communists, because what the National Socialists offered was the alternative to communism, and they were going to keep people free. And the Nazis went in, did gun control, did national health care, did all these things, for the greatness of America. And what we face right now is we face an administration that is hazy, that is confused, that is hiding things that are going on around the world, and they're actively supporting enemies of America. Now, I don't know how we live with that. I don't know how we make peace with that, because I can't. The Jewboy can't. Feldman World Review can't. Feldman World Group can't, and we are actively working because we can't. I didn't go into Obamacare today, and I'm not going into the economy today and the lie of unemployment today, because we all know what's going on already. The mainstream media is feeding a lot of crap about 7% unemployment when we know it's more close to 20%. We all know that the government used tax money to tie up the funds of Tea Party, of conservative organizations, of pro-Zionist and Israel organizations in America in 2010 and 2011. Will the DOJ ever see that as an equivalent of Chris Christie's Traffic-Gate? I don't know. But I do know one thing. Their foreign policy has the world on fire. And if anybody thinks that John Kerry and this group of fools, Jarrett, Rice, rhymes with Chuck Hagel, John Brennan, where are we going? That woman that's all I call her, the woman at the UN, the political left-wing socialist activist that was made our ambassador to the UN. Anybody doesn't know her name, I'm going to talk about her next week, folks, so you got to write her name down. But, anybody wants to call in, we got 5 minutes left. I'd love to hear from you, 347-202-0433. This is Feldman World Review. I am the Jewboy. Yes, I'm bar mitzvahed, and I'm Jewish. It's not just a name. It's a name I was given. I was given as a youth by some loving human beings that were out there. But please call in. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think's going on in this world, because I think that we need to vote as a bloc. One of the things that I do in every show now is I'm reaching out to conservatives, constitutionalists, Reagan Democrats, anti-socialists, pro-growth economists, libertarians, people that are sick of the Obama lie, people that want truth and transparency and honesty in government, people that want a government that's actually small and promoting states' rights and promoting interstate commerce and promoting the growth of free market capitalism. I hate the word capitalism. It's such a Marxist term. But a free market economy, because we are here to defend the employed class. That's the new class in America, folks, employed. You got three classes. You got the government, and those are people that are employed by the government, the people voted into the government, the people in the government, whether they were snuck in like Obama's, secret Middle East advisors, half of which were Muslim Brotherhood members, those guys, all the people in the government. Then you've got the unemployed, the disemployed, and the illegal aliens, okay, who are the burden on our entitlement society or entitlement government. And then you have the class I'm defending, the employed class. Because we that still work, and right now I still have a job and I'm still working, thank God. I'm part of that employed class, and everything that this government promises falls on the backs of the employed class now. It sounds so socialist, so communist, so national socialist, so fascist what's going on, that we're being forced as Americans to buy health care at all, that's an edict from a dictator in Washington, that we have to do this at all, that supposedly John Roberts, the Chief Justice of our Supreme Court, was intimidated by the Obama administration to change his mind about Obamacare and call it, well, it's a tax anyway, and they can just vote about the tax thinking it would go back to Congress and be repealed right then, that it's still going in place, that we still have to deal with this, is a frightening move in the United States. This is not a small step. This is not about health care and health services. This is about the government's role in our lives. This is about the redistribution of wealth of the employed class, the government, the unemployed, and the employed. And we are carrying this burden. We're carrying all the salaries of the government, all of the programs of the government, all of the policies of the government, all of the Hawaiian vacations of the government. We are the ones that are carrying it. We can't carry it anymore. 2014 is affording us the chance to change our direction. We must vote as a political bloc. Whether we agree 100% with the candidate going up this machine, then we think they're putting up Hillary Clinton. We don't know who the person's going to be in 2016. We have to act now. We need to take the Senate. Anybody that disagrees, please call in or blog me or message me on Facebook. Anybody that thinks that we don't have to vote as a bloc, we have to vote for the candidate that's going to stop whoever they put up. That's 2014. That's the goal. That's the train we need to be on. That's the thinking process we need to have. We need to support each other as conservatives. We need to support each other as Americans. We need to support each other as the employed class. And if any of my listeners out there are unemployed right now, believe me, my brothers, the battle is on. Our patriots are ready. We are ready. We have been watching. We are not being fooled. We are not lost in the confusion of Anonymous and the crazy conspiracy theorists that are all over the place. We are looking at this from a practical point of view, from a constitutional point of view, from a realistic day-to-day point of view, where we can create the change that needs to happen. We cannot sit by and let things like, failure in Egypt with not getting the Muslim Brotherhood in power is a great success to the world in the future. It's not just the Egyptian army and the people of Egypt that win there with their new constitution and 98.1% support. Okay, we need to vote. We need to change the direction of the Senate and the House. We need to put together the truth. This is the Jewboy. You're listening to Feldman World Review, blogtalkradio.com. I'm asking for 30 minutes a week. I might have another show on Wednesday soon. Please listen in, call in every week. Give me your 30 minutes. On to football. It's Denver and New England. It's Seattle and San Francisco. Two great games, but you know what, folks? We've got two world-class Hall of Fame quarterbacks. You don't see this much. 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Denver against New England. It's going to be quite a game. Have a great Sunday. Thanks for tuning in. This is the Jewboy.
Who more than self? Yeah, country love. And mercy more. spacious skies, or amber waves of grain. Or purple mountain majesties. Over the fruited plain. But now wait a minute. I'm talking about America, sweet America. You know, God done shed His grace on thee. He crowned thy good. Yes, He did.